This is going to be a much better message, trust me, because my hands are now free. Yes. Yes. So, welcome everybody. So excited to have everyone here. Excited to get into this. Before we get into it too far, I just want to bring, if you're here visiting or just joining us, first, welcome. We're so excited to have everybody. But we are in the middle of a series called Rooted, as you can see our banners. And this is kind of an overarching series. And last week, we stepped into part 2 of it. First part was all about serving. Why serve? Why are we the body? And why is it important to be serving one another, serving Jesus, to be a part of the body, to be plugged in, and the value and not just the value, but what it is that we get out of it. Why Jesus wants us to serve, because when we serve one another, we get to know one another. We get to understand one another. We get to sacrifice for one another and bear with one another. And what a wonderful gift that is. And so part of this is rooted, being rooted in the body, rooted in the church, rooted in my relationship with Jesus. And first is to serve one another, to be serving. Second is community. We don't like that word, community, but we need community to be rooted. Just like you see trees and gardens and things like that, they're in a community. They're in clusters. That yes, they have space, but many, and Philip preached on this a while back, a couple weeks back, several, I'm going to say, butcher that all up, about why palm trees are in, when a storm comes, when a hurricane comes, that their roots go out and interlock with one another, and so therefore they can withstand what is coming at them. So therefore they're in a community. But not only are they in community, and they can be even far apart from each other, but their root systems will reach out and connect and lock with one another. And so we need community. We need that fellowship. We need that connection with one another so that we can withstand all that the world is going to throw all at us, all that the enemy is going to throw at us. And so we have community. And third is generosity. Like, that's a big part of being rooted. You know, you can be generous and not love. You can be generous with your finances, with your time, whatever, but not have love. Do you know it is impossible to love and not be generous? Wow. A generous heart is always seated and rooted in a grateful heart. When you give out of generosity, when how I respond and is because of gratitude. I don't give to people. I don't give to the body. I don't give because I want to, or I feel coerced to, or because I'm obligated to, but because I have such a generous Father. He's such a good Father. He's such a generous Father. And so therefore it overwhelms and it just overflows out of me. The more I get to know Him because of community and serving others and serving Him, the more I grow to understand Him. I'm so full of gratitude that it just pours out, and I'm just like, here's my time. It's just a response to His goodness. And so what we're doing here and what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to give you this now, the title of today's message is Why Groups. We started into this last week and talking about the importance of it and why there's so much value in it is because you get to meet a friend. How many of us just want one good friend? Right. Just one good friend. I spent most of my life not having any good friends. And then I met Jesus, who's my best friend. And then He introduced me to a whole bunch more friends. A whole ton of them. And I can look out, said this first service, but even this service, some of my favorite people are in this room. All because of community. In the friendships that I've made in the family of God are incredible. Like, I was preparing for this, I'm thinking about, man, the first group I was ever in. You know, we were young and dumb, and we got into the church, and we didn't understand what was going on. It was just like, we're so zealous. This is awesome. And next thing you know, we're like, my wife and I, we come to church. First time in church, we receive Jesus, and next thing you know, we're just like, what's next? And like, well, you should do this, and you should do that. All along the way, I had no clue that was God's design. Within, instantly, we met Jesus, and within 30 days, we were serving somehow. And I look back on it, and I'm like, well, they were real creative because we were a mess. A mess. Like, I mean bad. Dysfunction, messed up, jacked up. If you can think it, if you can name it, that was us. But they found a spot. And then next it was like, you got to be in community. You got to get into this. And the first study I ever did was the book Crazy Love. Crazy Love. And I was like, yeah, this does sound crazy. You mean Jesus really loves like this? And he says that I can love like this? And I can look back now and there are people here. I mean, there are people that were part of that group that no matter what, some of them have moved away and are in different areas, but because of being in community and the relationship that we build, when I see them, it's like we just left off 12 years ago. It's like we're right back in that living room. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. There are faces here I can look out and go, I can think back 10, 11, 12 years ago because of being in community, what we have is so precious. It's irreplaceable. It's incredible. And so we're talking about, and I'm going to jump into more of this, and so you, as Aaron just started to introduce, is you got this pamphlet when you came in. And so what we're doing is we do this periodically throughout the year, and we'll do it 3 times a year, where we kind of hit the reset. We relaunch our groups, our ministries, everything. And so what it is our groups go for about 12 weeks. So it's a 12-week commitment, because many of us were like, I don't know, groups is like a lifetime sentence. I know for us it was like, for many years, we led a group for many, many years, long before I was a pastor. And it was the most rewarding. But there were times and seasons where it's like, man, I might need a break from this. But here's the thing, the fruit that comes out of it. So what we did is we learned from that. And we're like, hey, you know what's really good is sometimes not all groups are a fit. And you might be a part of one, and you got to start coming up with, because you feel like it's a lifetime sentence, you got to come up with all the excuses and reasons why you want to get out of it. So you start making things up, dentist appointments, doctor's appointments. My wife is having a baby. She wasn't pregnant. What? Well, it's that bad. I need out. No, I'm kidding. But here's the reality. Not here. None of you feel that way here. Here's the really cool thing is actually I'm proud of our groups. I love the groups that we have. And we see such incredible fruit and growth out of it. And I'm going to get into it. And I'm going to share 4 reasons with you today why groups, why it's important, why it's valuable. But at the end here, we're going to have an opportunity to respond. And what this is you can see all of these groups. It gives some details on what the group is about, what type of group, because we've got activity groups, we've got serving groups, we've got study groups, we've got ministry groups, we've got all these different kinds. We've got not one shoe fits all, so which one's going to fit you? And so I want you to be going through that, thinking about it, because I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. And here's the thing you'll notice, actually there's a few of them that are not there this week. The numbers, there's still some numbers there, but if you notice, number 1's not there. It's because it's full. We started this last week. How awesome. And many of these other ones are right about they're full. So if you want to be a part of one of these, you better think about it soon and quickly, because people filled it out in first service too, and many of these might already be full. But here's the thing, it's not a problem. Because I have a dream and a vision and a goal, more than just a goal. It's a prayer that's in my heart that every single person in this church will be plugged into community and fellowship and friendship. And so here's the thing, I'm believing all these are going to be full. So here's what's really great is last week we started signing up for these. This week we're signing up, and next week. And if these fill up, we've got backups. We've got extras. So I don't want to hear the excuse, well, they're full. There wasn't a spot for me. I'll make a spot. Just like the crazy psycho pastors that saw us and said, you got zeal, and said, we're going to get you into something. We're going to find a spot. We're going to make some room. Get into that in a minute. So think about this number, and I'll explain at the end how you have the opportunity to respond. And so we're going to jump in here. And we've got this really cool thing here that I want to talk about. And yes, it's community, but healthy community is much like a family. We know about community. We see community. We can go out into the world and we can see lots of community. But is it healthy community? You see, healthy community is a lot like family. And you might say, well, Pastor, I don't know, you didn't meet my family. Did you, if you would have been in my home and seen what my family was like, that's not family. But here's the thing, is we're talking about healthy family, healthy community. And family is much like wherever family is, there's a home. You see, a house is not a home, but what you turn it into and what you create is a home. A home is often a safe place, a place of refuge, a place of healing, where family dwells. My wife and I, years ago, we had this getaway date. It was awesome, and we went to Vegas. of all places. Which you think of Vegas, why Vegas? Vegas really isn't a place for us. We don't drink, we don't gamble, we don't party, that's not our thing. Yet we're in Vegas and it's like, what are we going to do? Well, we were there for the Monster Cup. Yes, that's right. Some twisting, some throttle, ripping some motorcycles around. It was awesome. It was amazing. So we had to go there because that's where it was. But here's the thing, the whole time we're there, this was this incredible trip, awesome, amazing trip, but there was this heaviness that was there. And we were there and something, when you're not a part of those things, well, we weren't up till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 a.m. So we were up and early, Adam and early. So we were up and Adam early. I'm butchering that. Totally gotten that backwards and messed up. But here's the thing. We were up and so we were out when there's a people that's out early in the morning that you wouldn't know were there. And what we got to see is wherever there is brokenness. What's funny is we got to see this, and my heart broke as we were seeing all these people out there that were either struggling from addictions or all sorts of different stuff, just broken, hurt, lost, shirtless, babbling to themselves, all out early in the morning. And we're walking the streets and we're seeing this, and it was so hard for us to see that. And so God really started to stir in my heart, and he said, I want you to dig into this more to find out that there's an entire city below the streets of Vegas. So even those that are desperate, the need to have community, the need to have a place of belonging is so wired in us. We're so deeply created for it that even in our brokenness, even in our suffering, even in our struggle, even in our lowest of moments, we'll find community. And it might not be healthy, but we'll find it. And so our heart and our desire, and so we have this thing here, belong, believe, become. Say it with me. Belong, believe, and become. You see, a lot of times in church, and I want to read this so I don't get it all twisted, is in religion, often we try to make people believe who don't belong, then we hope they behave. If they do, then we say they can belong. You see, and I'm not talking about just behaving in like I'm good or bad. I'm talking your actions, how you interact with other people is directly tied to what you believe. If you believe someone doesn't like you, the way you will behave around them will be quite different than if you believe they do like you. And so the thing is why we have this, and that's backwards the way it's often seen in religion. So people belong, then they believe, then they behave. We begin to behave when we believe, and we begin to believe when we belong. You see, you belong no matter what you think. You belong to Jesus, and you were bought and purchased by his blood. That's a hefty price. You're his. No matter what the world tries to tell you, no matter what Jesus tries to tell you, you belong to Jesus. You may not yet know it or understand it, but you're his because he says, you're mine because I bought and paid for you. I poured out every part of me. My body was broken and my blood was spilled because you're worth it. That's how much I value you. So you belong before you ever begin to realize that you belong. You belong in healthy community. You belong in a family. You belong in this family. And so everybody, understand that's for everybody. Just like Aaron was sharing and saying that all people are the image bearer of Christ, and therefore Satan hates humans. He hates people, and that's why he's got a mission, and he's got this thing he's out to get everybody, because he understands better than most that all belong to Jesus. All are made in his image, and he spilled his blood for everybody. We might not know it yet. He's not forceful. He's not controlling, he's not manipulative, but he's saying, I'm yours and you're mine. And so we all want this, and so much like a family, even my children. You see, my children are mine, not yours. They're my children. They're born into this world, and instantly, that is my child. Yeah, he's got to grow up and figure that out. She's got to grow up and figure that out and understand this is a safe place. This is a home. This is a family. This is community. We got to build that, and we got to help them understand this is where you belong. The world is out for our kids. The world is out for our families. The enemy wants to destroy the family unit. And so we've got to build and strengthen that. But first, we got to understand this is where I belong. So I want to say this. Sharon said it first service, and I want to say this. I really felt strongly today that I'm supposed to say, and this is for someone specific. Welcome home. Welcome home. You might not have ever heard that before, but welcome home. And so I have these 4 things that I want to share with you, but before I do that, I want to read Proverbs 18:1. It says, whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. Let me read that one more time. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. Some translations say, if you isolate yourself, you're a fool. It's foolish to isolate myself. It's foolish to be alone. It's foolish to be separated. The enemy is prowling around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Do you know what they do when they hunt? Predators, when they hunt, they find the weak one, the struggling one, and they separate him and they isolate him and they say, here's my opportunity. And the enemy wants to do nothing more than to isolate you. Well, they don't like me. I'm too much for them. All of the reasons we can justify, no one wants to be around me. I'm too broken. I'm too passionate. I'm too passionate. I get excited sometimes. Who wants to be around that? Once they really get to know me, they might not like me. He loves to isolate us. And it's foolish, Scripture tells us. And so I have these 4 things. I want you to write these down. Why you should be in a group. Why do I need to be in a group? And so the first one is slow me. Slow me. Second is grow me. Third is know me. And last is show me. Come on, Pastor, show me. So let me read them again. They're up there. Slow me. Grow me. Know me. And show me. And so the first one here, jumping in, is slow me. The greatest gift you could ever give to any relationship is your time. It's the greatest gift. It's not money. It's not gifts. It's not anything else. And especially in today's society, in today's world, do you know, study has shown that we as people, the majority of the population cannot have a longer attention span than 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, we've disconnected. We're no longer listening. We're not paying attention. That's how society has been transformed because of social media and all these other things, a microwave culture. I want the accelerator. I want a microwave dinner. I want microwave finances. I want microwave job path. I want microwave relationship. I want a microwave marriage. I want the best marriage ever, and I want it now. Lord, where is my perfect person? And my perfect kids? What do you mean you're 3 years old? How come you don't understand this yet? You should know. Why are you acting like that? When you do that, why are you getting in the mud again? I told you 50 times already. You should get it by now. Microwave, instant, 3-minute dinner. This was hilarious. I actually did this last night. I actually Googled simple, easy 10-minute dinners for kids. Because how many kids did we have? We had 9 kids at our house. And I was like, I got to figure this out. My wife looked at me and she was like, you're on dinner. And I went, ding, 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 ding. Quick, easy, 10-minute dinner. Everything's in a hurry. We're too busy. And so what do we often say when anyone says, hey, I want you to be a part of a group? We say, I'm too busy. It's one of the easiest things for the enemy to do. A lot of times the way the enemy will attack is it's frontal. It's full out assault, face to face, right? We love that. We're ready for that. That's easy. But a lot of times what the enemy will do is he'll all of a sudden, if you're not paying attention, if you're not watchful, is you're going at it with everything you have. You're so focused on beating him and fighting. You're putting everything you have into it. And then the enemy will just slip around to the back and start to propel you. And next thing you know, you're getting busy, or you're trying to attack more. And next thing you know, you're fighting just air. It's like shadow boxing. There's no substance in it. No one's going down. Nothing's happening. You're propelling. You're getting faster and faster and faster. And now you're getting busier. And it's like, but man, I'm praying all the time. I'm in the Word here. I'm doing this. I'm doing all these things. God said to do these things, so I got to do it now. And you forget about relationship. You forget about community. You forget about fellowship. You forget about the person on your right and left. So the greatest thing about groups is it slows me because, man, I can easily get busy. Many people mistake me for an extrovert. I am very task-oriented. I'm very goal-driven. Like, I'm going to get to the mountain. I need to get to it yesterday. You might want to get there tomorrow, but I need to get there last month. Okay? So I need people around me that are going to slow me. Like, man, dude, do you just want to take the mountain or do you want to enjoy the trip? And so it slows me. I give my time. That's the greatest gift you can give to a relationship. And so the next one is grow me. Do you know the word growth in the Greek translated means the intense heat, pounding, and forging of steel? It's not easy. Like, it's intense. The way it's described is the intense heat, the intense pounding. So if you've ever looked at this and you've seen blacksmith knives, like, they're suited up. They got gloves. They got these incredible tools that are like 2 feet long minimum. Some of them are 4 feet long because it is hot in that furnace. Right. And so groups grow me. No, it's not always easy. No, it's not always fun. No, it's not. Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's like, man, this group's tough. These people, they're really challenging me. You know what the funny thing is? Often I'll hear, I don't ever hear it here. Never. But I'll sometimes hear the line out there, I'm too spiritual for this group. I've got it. They're not at my level. Okay, so maybe the group needs you. But here's what's funny. You're going to quickly find out, actually, you need the group. Because there's maybe some pride that needs to be worked out. Or maybe there's some things in there that will come to light that you may have not yet discovered. And so groups grow me. I can't tell you how many times my biggest challenge in being vulnerable with you, like over the years, my fear is if I'm going to go to a group, my fear is I'm going to show up to the group and it's going to be like, all right, Pastor, we're ready. What you got for us? And it's like, I want to go to a group because I want to grow, because I want to eat, because I want to feed. And what I love about this church is we have that here. I get to submit under the teaching of others, and it's a wonderful gift. One of my favorite things about this church is I get to feed too. And so because of that, the temptation is there, well, if I go there and it's a complete lie, is that everyone's going to be looking at me and wanting to pull on me, and I just want to be a part of the group. I want to be a part of the family. And I get that here. But it still comes up. Every time we do this, all the time, my kids are asking, which group are we going to be a part of? They all got their opinions on which group we should be a part of. It's like a competition almost. Not really. Okay? It's not. But the gift in it and why we need it is because I have so much to learn. It never fails. I'll go to a group, I'll be a part of a community and fellowship and growing, and I'll look at something, someone come up and I'll be like, I can give you sample after sample, example after example after example, where I was like, I never saw it that way. People that would come years ago when we let a group come, and it's like you open it up and you're hearing this thing, and it's like, wow, I never saw it that way. That is awesome. That is wonderful, and what a gift that is, because groups grow me, and groups grow you. And so next is, before we jump too far, I want to read this. Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 10 says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. You see, where there's one, yeah, you can do some awesome stuff and great things, but pity the one who falls down because no one's there to help him up. But when you're in community, you get to strengthen each other. You get to grow each other. You get to pick each other up. But 3, what it's saying there's 2 is better than 1, but 3 is even better. It's that much stronger. So when you get into community, you're strengthened that much more. So know me. Know me. Even in a church this size, it's easy to hide. How many of you can honestly look at that and go, man, I am known. I'm known. I can still hide. I can show up on a Sunday. I can preach the word. We've got a lot of things in place, but trust me, I can still hide if I want to. It's easy not only to hide, it's easy to get lost. Many times we can show up and it's like, well, I show up, I'm here, and yeah, someone greets me, but the rest of the week, they don't really reach out to me. They don't know me. Well, did I put myself out there? Did I engage with the community so that I am known? You see, being known and being in a group is, they know me. They get to see all of me. Now, that's a scary thing because we see often in communities we'll have intimacy, and we don't like that word because into me you see. See, I don't want you to know me because as soon as you know me and you see all these other little quirks and ticks and things that I have and all the other stuff and these other struggles and problems and challenges, you might not like me. But here's the beauty of getting to know me is you get to know all of that about me and you get to help me. And vice versa. I want to be known because I don't have it all figured out. I need to be grown. I need to be known because you have gifts and you have things in you that I don't have. And when they come together, it's a beautiful, wonderful collage, goulash, a mix of all sorts of stuff. You see, the things that go in that dish, onions aren't very good by themselves. Some people are like, actually, yes, I love them. Have you not seen the blooming onion? Yes, I love onions. But some people, if you're my brother growing up, you're like the texture of it, the taste of it, everything about it's horrible. But when it goes in the mix with everything else, some things are just made to meld together. Some things bring out the flavors and the aroma of everything else, and without coming to community and coming together in that, we don't get to experience that wonderful dish. My 10-minute thing last night was this wonderful soup that I made for the first time called spaghetti soup. And I was so nervous, I kept asking the kids, I hope they like this. How do you like it? They're like, it's awesome. And it just came together. But all those different things by themselves, noodles are blah by themselves. You got to add stuff to it. You have things inside of you. We need to know you, and you need to know us so that we can come together and make this beautiful dish that God designed and created to share with the world. Hebrews 10:24-25 says, and let us consider thoughtfully, this is the Amplified Version, how we may encourage one another to love and to do good deeds, not forsaking our meeting together as believers for worship and instruction, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more faithfully as you see the day of Christ's return approaching. You see, COVID changed all sorts of things. Many got in the habit of not being together. We use this scripture often to talk about church and why we should gather. But here's the thing. What happens on Sunday is amazing. It's awesome. But really what happens Monday through Saturday is even more important. Being in community, being in relationship, being connected, not forsaking coming together into community so that you know me, I know you, so that I'm slowing down and I'm focusing on the things that are most important in my life and in your life, and so that I'm growing in my relationship with the Lord and relationship with you. But Jesus wasn't in community. Oh, yes, he was. He had 12 disciples, and he even had many others. And yet he even had a few really, really close ones. You see, and when you get into community, you get the opportunity to meet those that you can just connect with. And you got to work for it. You got to work at it. And so last is show me. Show me. Come on, Pastor, show me. Show me why I should be there. 2 sentences. You can't see what you can't see, and you don't know what you don't know. You can't see what you can't see, and you don't know what you don't know. And so I need someone to show me. I need someone to show me because I just can't see it. I'm looking really hard. Have you ever seen those pictures? Remember the fine Waldo pictures? Or there's those ones that are collages, it's like there's something in there. It's like a dragon or something, but I can't see it. Can you see it? And you're sitting there staring at it. You're like, I just can't see it. For most of my life, some of those are colorblind tests. I spent most of my life not being able to see anything in those pictures until one day God healed me. And I was like, oh my gosh. But most of my life, I had to look to my siblings and be like, what's there? Oh, it's a dragon, dude. It's awesome. There's a knight in there. He's wielding a sword, and it's incredible. There's a motorcycle in there, and I couldn't see him. You can't see what you can't see. I could strain as hard as I wanted. I couldn't see it. No matter what I would try to do, I couldn't see it. You cannot see what you can't see, and so someone needs to come alongside you to help you, to show you. Some of the two areas where we've grown the most in our lives, my wife and I, has been two areas. One where we're going through a valley of low, and always simultaneously being in community. It's in those areas where I've grown the most, because here's the thing that happens in community when I'm struggling. You see, sometimes you got to get low, and there's value to the valley of the low and that season of the low, because it drives you down and it brings you somewhere to your knees. And it gives you a perspective. It allows you to see things that you can't see when you're standing tall. See, there's little specks on here. I see it all right now. We got to repaint the stage. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But there's things that I just can't see until I get close to them, close to the situation. But here's what's really cool. I need a volunteer. Dean, would you come on up here and join me? Is sometimes when I'm here and I'm in this posture and I'm trying to look for things and I'm trying to see stuff, my head is down like this. Would you join me on stage and just come here with me? My head might be down. I might be sorrowful. I might just be down. And sometimes you just need someone right next to you that's in the same posture, in the same position. Yes, just like that. Maybe a hand on you, praying with you to say, hey, to reach over and just say, hey, man, lift up your head. Look out there. You're so focused right here. And I need him to show me there's more to the situation than what I'm looking at right here in front of me. Say, there's so much more. Look at this with me. I need someone to show me. I need someone to point out the things that I just don't know. The things I don't know that I don't know. Thank you. There have truly been times where Dean has been in my life to show me things I can't see, and vice versa. Because of relationship, we are able to have that. And so, now's our opportunity, and I'm going to go into something here in just a minute, but those are the 4 reasons why we need community, why we need groups, and why you should be a part of one. And so, today, if you want to do this, you have the opportunity to, as I mentioned before, is hopefully you've been thinking, hopefully you've looked this over to see what are the groups, what are the communities, what do we have? We have man builders, we have men's groups, we've got family style groups, we've got purpose-driven life groups, we've got mission of marriage groups. Like, there's nothing here we don't have. And maybe and I feel like for some there's actually going to be some things here where you're like, that's the thing, and God's going to prompt on your heart, but you might say, I'm not sure if I want to do that. I'm not sure if I want to be that vulnerable or get involved in that way or be a part of that. And I'm asking all of us to step out in this season. This officially launches the week of the 25th. So, next week, it's a 12-week commitment, and then we take a break. But ask yourself, is there something that God has more for me? And so many of you have already signed up, and if you've already done that, you don't need to do this. But if you see one here that you want to be a part of, on that card that Aaron introduced, it says next steps. Next steps. All you got to do is write the number of the group you want to be a part of. I want to check this out. I want to be a part of this. And so, ushers, would you come forward? As you're filling that out, we've got some folks that are going to be up here. They've got buckets they can bring forward. They're going to put these on the... They're going to be up here on the left. Worship team, come on up. And then they're going to pass them down. Just go ahead and drop that in there. Make sure your full name is on there. And if there's one you want to be a part of, write in that number. And so, as they do that, I'm going to close this and wrap this up. And I want to read this to you. This is in Revelation 7, 9 through 11. This is a vision where one of the disciples, John, gets caught up and he sees this image in this picture of heaven and what's going on in heaven. It says, after this, I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, every tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands. And they cried out in a loud voice, Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. All the angels were standing around the throne and around the elders and the four living creatures. They fell down on their faces before the throne and worshiped God. I picked that because it says all of the nations, all of the tribes, every language. There was such diversity. The church should be the place. Sometimes we don't want to be in groups because I don't know if I'm going to like the people that are there. They might not be like me. That's okay. The church is supposed to be that place that teaches the world what diversity truly is, not the world telling us. We're a diverse people group. The family of God is all people, is his family. All belong to Jesus. You're his, and I'm his, and you're his, and you're his, and you're his. We're all his, and we're all different. We've all got these gifts and these unique things to bring, and we're all called to do one thing: worship the living God. That image, that picture, sometimes I'll read that, and I just weep. Think, God, what is that like? I want to see that, where my brother on my left and my sister on my right, your right, my left, right, left, is unified in worship, in relationship, and that I'm valuing the gifts that are in them. And so this image, we're going to go into this and we're going to worship, and my ask is pour it all out. Imagine that. What would that be like here on earth? The church here on earth, bringing that to the earth, to be in community and to teach the world what healthy community and healthy family looks like. Well, it starts with us, and it starts with us taking a chance. It starts with us stepping out and saying, all right, I'm going to do this. As scary as it is, as hard as it might be, and many of us have gotten in the habit of, I don't need that. We need community. Would you stand, and I'm going to pray. Lord Jesus, we just thank you and we bless you. We're so grateful for you, God. I thank you for inviting us into your family, for adopting us as sons and daughters of the true King. Lord, I just ask that today no one would respond out of feeling pressured. Lord, I just pray that you would speak to each and every one of us individually exactly what it is you have for us. Lord, I pray blessing over this family, over this church, Lord, that we would be a people that really embodies family, that truly understands community. Lord, fellowship, as you say. Not the surface of fellowship, but the fullness of fellowship. And I pray for those that may feel like, the family I had was so dysfunctional, the family I had was so broken that I'm scared to really step into community. I'm scared of relationships. And I feel like there's some that have had broken friendships, and so therefore have felt like, I don't know how to be a good friend, and I don't know how to find good friends. Lord, I pray that today would be the day that in this place would be the beginning of a new chapter for that, Lord. That those that have experienced brokenness in this area and hardship in this area and outright abandonment in this area and rejection, Lord, would rise up today, and that today would be the beginning of a new season, that they would be the ones that would teach the church and the world what relationship looks like, healthy relationship, to carry the banner of friendship, to carry the banner of wholeness and healed hearts. Lord, I pray blessing over all of us in Jesus' name. Amen.